Hey guys, here to do a top 10 movies that touched me. Top 10 movies that touched me, the movies that would qualify on this list would be like movies where after I got done watching it, I was really depressed or sad, happy, or I was really moved by the story. And so most of the movies in here are kind of like sad love stories or something like that. But I have 10 here. And I'll start with the movie that made me want to do this list, and that is The Outsiders. I just finished watching this, and oh my god, what a movie. I'm surprised this movie isn't a lot more famous than it is. Maybe it is, and I just don't know. But if you like if you liked American Graffiti, or The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you'll like this. This is like an 80s movie that involves a group of friends, and it takes place in the 1950s. Great movie. It's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and get this version. This is the complete novel. There is another version that's like 20 minutes shorter, but get this one. This is the one that I have and the one I watched, and it was good. The next one, some of you might give me shit for it because it's very girly, but that is Ballet Shoes. I saw this for the first time when I was kind of in Emma Watson was my celebrity crush, during Harry Potter, and I really wanted to watch this movie, and when I watched it, it made me want to become an actor. The movie is about these three sisters. One of them wants to be an actress, one of them wants to be a ballet dancer, one of them wants to be an airplane pilot, and it takes place in London in the 30s, and it's just a short movie. It's not even an hour and a half long. It's just a short movie that has some touching moments. It's really good. It's a British movie. If you see it in the store, it's pretty cheap now. If you see it in the store, highly recommend you pick it up. The next one, these aren't in any particular order, by the way. The next one is About Schmidt. I don't know if I did a review on this movie or not, but when I first bought this movie, I only bought it because of Jack Nicholson. And when I watched it, I was really surprised at it's a blend of a comedy and a drama. It's about how Jack Nicholson's life is kind of boring and dull, and then his wife ends up dying, and he kind of goes on this trip to kind of rediscover himself, and he really the whole meaning of the movie is everybody is important. You can make an impact on somebody's life no matter how small you are. And it's just, Jack Nicholson, the same man that played Jack Torrance, or the guy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or, Costello in The Departed, plays a simple man who just wanted to make a difference. Great movie. If you're a fan of Jack Nicholson, highly recommend you check this out. This is like the last, I would consider the last classic movie that he did. This and The Departed. The next one is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. When I read this book, it's a very short book. I think it's maybe a little bit over 100 pages, if that at all. And it's just one of those stories where it's another high school movie, and it's about this guy who goes into high school for the first time. He's had a lot of problems in his past, and he doesn't have a lot of friends, and he ends up meeting this group of three that just takes him in and makes him one of their own. And a very touching story. It's also it has a lot of depressing and weird moments in it, but highly recommend it if you like the high school movie and you haven't seen this or read the book. Again, it has Emma Watson in it, Logan Lerman, who was in Percy Jackson, Ezra Miller, Joan Cusack, and Paul Rudd are in this movie. But really good movie. The next one is The Breakfast Club. This was another movie where, when Universal, in their 100th anniversary last year, when they were re-releasing all their movies, this was one of them that they re-released. I don't think I had ever heard of it, and I saw it, on the shelf, and I was looking at it, and I saw it was directed by John Hughes. So later that day, I told my dad to go back to the store and pick it up, and I watched it. And again, it's just one of those movies where it's a movie about a group of friends who, well, the movie is, if you've never seen it, it's about how this group of teenagers are supposed to have detention for a day. One of them is a prep, one of them is a nerd, one of them is a jock, one of them is a troublemaker, and then one of them is kind of an outcast, someone that you don't really would talk to. And in the course of this day, they end up, kind of bonding together and sharing stories that troubled them and stuff. And by the end of the movie, they become close friends. And it's a very good story. This is a pretty famous movie, so you've probably seen this before. But fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. The next one is Remember Me. I just recently did a review on this movie, but I won't go into huge details about it. But this was another movie where when I watched it, I was really impressed by Robert Pattinson's acting, and it's just another one of those really good, depressing stories, love stories that, a lot of these are made every year, but there's a few that get it right, and this was one of them. The next one is Whip It. Ellen Page is probably my favorite actress right now, of like the current generation. And I want to see a lot of Ellen Page's movies without getting too creepy or stalkerish. And this movie is directed by Drew Barrymore. And again, I did a review on this movie. And it's just a movie about a girl who, she's a punk rocker type girl who joins this roller derby to fit in, and she ends up meeting this guy. The guy ends up fucking her over. Very good movie. It reminded me a lot of Juno. If you really like Juno, I think you'll really like Whip It. Very good Ellen Page acting, and Juliette Lewis is in this movie. Drew Barrymore, Kristen Wiig, Jimmy Fallon. A very good movie. The next one is Adventureland. This is a movie that I saw when I was kind of in a Kristen Stewart phase, after I saw Twilight. And I did want to see this movie for a while, and I saw it in the store. I think I might have did a review on this movie as well. This movie has Jesse Eisenberg. He was in Zombieland and The Social Network. Kristen Stewart, Bill Hader, he's a famous SNL guy. Kristen Wiig, and then Ryan Reynolds. He was in Green Lantern, The Proposal. But the movie is about how Jesse Eisenberg's character, James Brennan, he ends up doing something really stupid. He ends up getting drunk, and he crashes his parents' car into this tree. So he has to get money. So he takes a pretty shitty job at a theme park called Adventureland. And he meets this girl named M, played by Kristen Stewart, who she's kind of like a whore, but a whore with a good heart. And they end up kind of falling in love, and it's just this movie about love and friends, and it takes place in the 80s. Very highly recommended if you like, lighthearted comedy. It's not a very gross movie. It says it's from the director of Superbad. So if you like Superbad, you might like this movie. I really liked it, and it's just a really good movie. The next one, and The Outsiders would definitely be my top two on this list. Juno. Juno was another movie that I had heard a lot of things about, and I remember when it came out, I'd seen it in the store numerous times, but it wasn't a movie that I had a huge, thing to see. And my child development class in high school watches this movie, and it was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. And I was in Walgreens one time, and I saw this in the cheap $5 bin, so I picked it up. And the first time I watched this movie, I was like, son of a bitch. What a great story, what a great movie. Ellen Page wows me in this movie. Jennifer Garner, Jason Bateman, J.K. Simmons. He's famous for playing J. Jonah Jameson in the original Spider-Man trilogy. Allison Janney and Michael Cera. He was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And the movie's about a girl named Juna McGuff who gets pregnant by her boyfriend. I can't remember his name. And Paulie Bleeker. And the movie's just about how kind of she's gonna get an abortion, but then she doesn't, and she accepts the fact that she's pregnant, and she ends up deciding to give this baby away to this family, this couple that wants to have a baby, and it's just kind of a troubling situation that she's in, but fantastic movie. Again, it's only an hour and a half. I wish this movie was a lot longer. Directed by Jason Reitman, and he's the son of the famous director Ivan Reitman. He did Ghostbusters, and I think he did Caddyshack too. I'm not sure, but fantastic movie. This is like another great high school teenage love story movie. It deals with pregnancy and sex, and it's just a great movie. Highly recommend it. The last one is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is... Everybody has seen or at least heard of Forrest Gump. I can't really... surprisingly, I do know a lot of people that haven't seen Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is about a man named Forrest Gump who he is kind of he's kind of mentally handicapped. He's either mentally handicapped or really slow, and he's just such a person as little as him, somebody who's not really that important, makes the biggest impact on literally every situation that he's in. It's Tom Hanks is in this movie. I love Tom Hanks. The movie won Best Picture. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis, and he did the Back to the Future trilogy and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We have Sally Field, Gary Sinise, Robin Wright. Very good movie if you haven't seen it. No, but I've seen this. This is like one of those movies where I've seen it so many times that I kind of have to take a little break from it for a while. I haven't watched it, I think, all the way through in a long time. Sometimes when I put it in, I just kind of skip to my favorite parts. But fantastic movie. But that's my list, guys. And I highly recommend each and every single one of these movies. I mean, even if you're a guy and you don't like love stories or romantic comedies or whatever, I still think you'll get a thrill out of watching these. All of these movies are really good. All of them are pretty famous movies too, so they're still pretty easy to find. But this is my list of top 10 touching movies, and thanks for watching.